Stellar Crown is going to be released on September 13th of 2024, just under 2 weeks from now. I feel like Stellar Crown has been getting a lot of hype even before getting released, and I feel like that's kind of been the situation with basically any set now that gets released from Scarlet and Violet, because there's just been a huge shift of view on Scarlet and Violet. And all the attention that Sword and Shield was getting, I think, is now moving over to Scarlet and Violet. And basically, any set now, they're basically saying is the next biggest set. So in this video, I want to give you guys my opinion and my objective view on Stellar Crown and if I think this is going to be the next big set. So obviously, this is all speculation. I don't know anything. I'm just giving you guys my opinion on the set and kind of comparing it to some other sets in Scarlet and Violet that have outperformed some other ones to see if Stellar Crown has the potential of being the next big set. So this page I just brought up to show you guys the release date. But other than that, I want to show you guys a couple of sets from the Scarlet and Violet era that have outperformed other sets. These two sets Paldea Evolved, Twilight Masquerade, they've outperformed Paradox Rift, Temporal Forces, Obsidian Flames, and Scarlet and Violet Base. The specialty sets, obviously, the good ones are 151, but I'm talking about main sets here. So the only two main sets that have really outperformed any other set out there, or any other main set, have been Paldea Evolved and Twilight Masquerade. So I want to show you guys the cards that are in these sets and compare it to Stellar Crown to see if maybe there is some potential that Stellar Crown does as well at these sets. But I do want to say this. And one big factor that I feel like a lot of people don't talk about when they're saying, is this going to be the next big set or whatever? So Scarlet and Violet has been really weird with, printing wise, because Twilight Masquerade, obviously is a really new set. And how's the box already so expensive? It's because there's so much demand for it and there wasn't that much supply. So the box prices quickly went up. And it's going to be, interesting to see how much gets printed of Stellar Crown because we don't know any of this yet, so it's we'll have to see when it actually does get released. So a lot of what I'm saying is also a lot depending on how much they actually print of Stellar Crown. It is possible that maybe this set gets printed more than the other ones because they have seen obviously all these other sets are not really available anymore to a lot of these stores. So maybe they are going to print a lot more of Stellar Crown. Who really knows? But looking at these couple sets that I want to show you guys, let's see what these sets have that maybe Stellar Crown has or maybe it doesn't. So Paldea Evolved here you can see is at $137, and honestly if you look at it, it's been slowly going up. But this is decently expensive for Scarlet and Violet sets. This is basically the most expensive box. Twilight Masquerade is kind of catching up, but as of right now, Paldea Evolved is the most expensive box, and this is the second set. So looking at the card list, now I know Magikarp had the huge, uprise and whatever, but objectively when we look at these cards, we look at the artworks and we see the Pokemon that are actually, on these cards and the artworks, and we see that, objectively, even though Paldea Evolved in the beginning, a lot of people, said the set was trash, if you objectively look at the set, it has cards that have the potential for the set to go up. The Magikarp, obviously, people are saying this card's overvalued or whatever, but whatever the case is, this is a really nice artwork. It's really like an intricate, like mosaic kind of design. And if you look at these cards, Iono, Raichu, Tyranitar, and there's some other cards here that are not as, known, but the artworks are really nice on them. Objectively, you can see the set was probably going to perform well just based on the cards and the Pokemon that are inside them. And yeah, I feel like objectively you can see that this set is going to be good. It has a few Pokemon and trainers that are very popular. So overall, I feel like you could have probably predicted Paldea Evolved was probably going to be a good set. Next, Twilight Masquerade. Now this is a big one because there's actually a lot of people saying Twilight Masquerade is overpriced and all that stuff. But looking at the box price, it's at $133, just behind Paldea Evolved. And when you really take a look at it, this is the 6th main set to get released. Paldea Evolved was the second one, so it's like maybe a whole year difference, and Twilight Masquerade is already pretty much at the price of Paldea Evolved. That's pretty insane, but it's for a good reason. It's because it has a few very expensive cards in it, and the top card is obviously very expensive compared to the top card in Paldea Evolved. But looking at the set list and the cards inside of here, objectively, let's look at the cards. Yeah, I know the price of Greninja is insane, and when this set came out, obviously this card wasn't as expensive as it is now. It wasn't $300 when it came out. And people are saying there's price manipulation, whatever. But objectively, if we look at the card artwork, could you see why this is an expensive card? Now, Greninja, I feel like it is a popular Pokemon, but it's not super popular. And for this card, to be, $300, was there maybe, any time that anyone thought this was going to be possible? Probably not. I feel like this is kind of an anomaly. But other than that, the artworks in the set are pretty good. I mean, the artwork of Carmine I think is very good. I don't know if Perrin is a very playable card or whatever, but I feel like this card being $77 is kind of insane. But other than that, this card or this set just has a lot of nice artworks. The Eevee is a big one. Eevee is a very popular Pokemon, and we can see that with the Evolutions, like, Evolving Skies. Like, Evolutions, Eevee is a very popular Pokemon, and this has a lot of Eevees. It's just a nice artwork. It has, I can see why this is like a $50 card. Another trainer card. These aren't very popular Pokemon per se, but this still is very nice artwork here. This card is like whatever. This is a pretty nice trainer. But other than that, it's mainly, the Greninja card and these few trainers and, a couple of these cards here that are making this box, this expensive. Because if you look at the other cards in here, like, they're not that expensive. But other than that, like, there are still some nice artworks in the set. But overall, it's just really these cards here that are making this set so expensive. We're going to Stellar Crown. Stellar Crown, it's kind of weird. I feel like Stellar Crown doesn't have as many illustration rares as like Twilight Masquerade or Paldea Evolved. It seems like kind of like a smaller set to me. But objectively, let's look at the cards in here and see if this set has what it takes to be the next big set. So we're not going to go over, the just regular like EX cards or whatever. So looking at the illustration rares first, I can already tell you a few cards, and I think it's obvious the cards that are going to be expensive is going to be the starter Pokemon of Squirtle and Bulbasaur. These are obviously going to do well. I mean, we can kind of even see that with Eevee. I know it's a little bit different, but this card's $50, and you can see the artwork. And if you look at Squirtle and you look at Bulbasaur, these are probably going to be decently expensive in the set. I wouldn't be surprised if these are around maybe the $30 to $50 range. But other than that, if you look at the artwork of the other just regular illustration rares, they're all right. I mean, there's nothing in any Pokemon here I feel like people are going to really look at that is going to be like, wow, this is like such nice artwork. Like, this Gulpin or whatever is pretty cool. But other than that, like, there really isn't much of these illustration rares other than these two cards that I think are going to really do that well. It's just, these are kind of just meh, like, they're all right. Full arts, no one really cares too much about them. Yeah, there's really not much to say. Full arts, in my opinion, don't really do that well anyways. Like, it's usually the illustration rare cards that are going to do well. Full art supporters or trainer cards or whatever you want to call them. Looking at them, obviously, in Pokemon, I don't even want to say the word, but you guys know what kind of trainer cards do well. I don't even have to say it. But in this set, there really isn't none, at least from what I can see. So really nothing there. And then for the special illustration rares. Now, I feel like this is honestly a letdown. And this is going to, I guess, explain and show you guys my reasoning why I feel like, I guess I'll tell you guys my reasoning why, my verdict of Stellar Crown. I feel kind of disappointed about these special illustration rares. It is possible these are going to be expensive because maybe they're hard to pull, and that's just enough to make them wanted because they're so scarce. But other than that, objectively, these artworks just to me, I mean, I kind of like this one, but other than that, like, the Terapagos and the Galvantula, like, these honestly are just let down. So, like, this is kind of cool, but if you compare this to, like, other artworks, like, I think this one is a lot cleaner, and just, like, these are just so much, like, cleaner, in my opinion, than this card. Like, it just looks kind of just like whatever. That's just my opinion of the card. But it's possible that this card is going to be very expensive just because it is rare. But I just think that, I don't know, I just don't really like the artwork that much, just in my opinion. I think these artworks are kind of cool. This might be an expensive trainer. This one, I don't really know. But just overall for the set, I feel kind of disappointed. But it is possible that this is going to be the same situation that happened with Twilight Masquerade, where one of these cards is going to get very expensive, and then the whole, set gets expensive, and depending on how much they print, this could, as very well be one of those times, like Twilight Masquerade. But my opinion, at the end of this video, if you watch all the way here, is that I really don't think Stellar Crown is going to be like Twilight Masquerade or Paldea Evolved, where it's going to outperform, these other Scarlet Violet sets, at least in the near future. These sets obviously are all going to probably do well in the long run, but I just think in recent times and stuff, this is, in my opinion, going to kind of be like Paradox Rift Temporal Forces, where it's going to be like, it's a good set, but it's not going to be one of those boxes like Twilight Masquerade where in like 3 months it's going to shoot up to $130. I don't really see that with this set, but we will have to see how the print run is and how much supply there is, and how much these cards are actually going to cost, because we can't really predict that. That's just kind of my opinion. I just feel like this set is kind of overhyped for what it is. I don't really see any outstanding things other than the Squirtle and Bulbasaur. And just the special illustration rares, I'm kind of a little bit disappointed. I just like this one, and that's kind of it. I feel like these are kind of just whatever. But yeah, that's just my opinion. But maybe when they come out and they get expensive, maybe my perspective will change. But objectively, I think this is just a meh set. So let me know down in the comments what you think about my opinion about Stellar Crown. And yeah, that's it. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you on the next one.